And good morning, and guess who's back? JP is back with us this morning with Barnes Safety and Consulting. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandra.
So glad to have you back. We had Lyndall last week. He visits every now and then and gives JP a break, and I'm going to let him visit in December one week and give me a break. It's going to be him and JP. I'm just throwing that on you right now.
I look forward to it. We have a lot of lively debates on Facebook, and we cut up with one another from time to time, me and Lyndall, so we stay in touch. We give each other a hard time.
Well, anyway, so we'll be seeing Lyndall from time to time, but you're stuck with me and JP, so that's all right. And I hear good comments about us. I really do. They like you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, this morning we want to give a few tips to you. The holidays are coming, and next weekend, and we will not be here next Thursday. We want to eat turkey with our families too. So we're going to give you a little rerun, but make sure you watch it, and maybe everybody in your house, you might want to introduce it to them and show them the show, what we do on the K-Files. So anyway, we'll be doing that next week. So the week after that, we'll be back with you. But today, since it is Black Friday weekend, you're going to be doing a lot of shopping. So we're going to talk about this morning a little bit of safety tips, things like that. When the show ends, I think we need to do that, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do.
And we have Lieutenant Seifman in the building. Always glad to have him on from Rocky Mount Police Department to talk about some cases that they want to highlight. And right now, there was a case that came to me. We have not talked about this case. This is in our book, but have not talked about this case at all. Kevin Lamont Bullock. And this is kind of recent, January of 20. So it's about almost 2 years, only 2 years old. Lamont Bullock, 19 years old at the time, was driving his vehicle on Grayson Road, heading toward Gold Rock Road in Rocky Mount around 4:50 p.m. And there's a nice picture of him in here. With his graduation cap and gown and all that on, looks like a nice guy. But he's heading towards Gold Rock Road in Rocky Mount, 4:50 p.m. He arrived to the intersection of Gold Rock Road, and he was shot multiple times by an unknown assailant. His car rolled through the intersection and ended up on the opposite side of Gold Rock Road. Per police report, Bullock also had a gun in his vehicle, and he was involved in a heated argument the night before. It was not certain if they were implying that the gun was for his own protection. Law enforcement is still working on leads in the shooting. It was close to 5 p.m. when the shooting took place on a very busy highway, and witnesses may have seen the incident and not spoken up. Gold Rock Road is kind of a busy road. Mm-hmm. It's better known as Highway 48, isn't it? I believe. So kind of a busy road, and hard to believe that if something of this magnitude took place that nobody saw anything. There had to be cars going by because the vehicle went to the other side of the road, and all kinds of things were happening. So shot multiple times. It's hard to believe nobody saw something like that.
With as much traffic is on that road, you would think that somebody did see, and odds are they did. Odds are they did.
Well, if you did, we please ask you to come forward. This was only 2 years ago. 10 months ago. So this should be very, very familiar to somebody traveling down that road. If you saw the least thing, if you just thought it was a wreck, and it was around that time, I wish we had what the vehicle looked like.
That's probably peak traffic time for that highway.
Yeah,
that road.
Absolutely. Probably is. 4:50 p.m. is getting off time.
Yeah.
At some of the businesses in the area, and there are right many businesses in the area.
School buses are on the road.
School bus, yeah. Imagine. So, and again, the name is Kevin Lamont Bullock. Kevin Lamont Bullock. So if you know anything, please dial 406-6736, the hotline, or you can do the text to tip, and we'll get that put up for you. The text to tip number we always put up when Lieutenant Seaman's on here. So if you want to do it that way, we don't care. 977-1111. You can call the Crime Stoppers number. So anyway, please do so if you know anything at all about this particular case. We're going to be bringing you some of the different cases in the book, but some different cases outside of the book. We're hoping to put another book together. We're talking about that so that we can get all of the cases in, because there's a lot of cases that we just could not put in this book. And if you, again, I'll tell you, if you want one of these books, just come down here. I've had several people come and pick a book up that saw us on the show, and they'd stop by to get one. So, and you can pick them up at other various locations. I've seen them at some of the gas stations, because we've got several people on the board that are distributing these. So anyway, even the law enforcement agencies are distributing these as well.
They've been a hit in my concealed carry classes.
Really?
And a lot of things we talk about, you know, there's been some situations where we actually go in and discuss some of these things.
Yes.
And we talk about the use of force, and we talk about concealed carry. Great conversations from this book.
Yeah.
It's a good tool. A lot of these cases in here, a lot of people right here in the Rocky Mount community didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know? And some of these cases, I was in law enforcement for almost 30 years right here, and some of them I wasn't aware of.
Just wasn't aware of, and me either. So, and we've had some really good, we're going to have some good guests on. I think we may be getting, of course, you know, to get the SBI, JP has been working on that, and to get them is a bigger deal than just asking a law enforcement agency to come on. I mean, to get them, we have to go through channels. So we're working on that. That'll be interesting to find out how the SBI works locally with these cases.
And she is so excited. She is looking forward to it so much. She's just waiting.
We have to talk to her boss. You know how that is. The public relations that's where it always ends up, in the PIO or Public Information Officer's office, or whomever. But we did have the Highway Patrol on, and we've added them into our mix, and I'm about to call them again, or you can, and invite them back. I told him I would. He's got some specific cases. We wouldn't think the Highway Patrol really had cases to talk about, but they do. He said, I've got 3. He said, you don't think about it, but right now we've got 3 murder cases. So we didn't get a chance because of all the other great things he talked about. It was a really big hit. I heard a lot about it, about the show. But anyway, we're going to invite them back, because we want to give them a week as well, to maybe once a month or every 2 months, to come in and talk about things they want to talk about as well. So, and they've been involved. There's that case, is it close to the L&L or Dollar General? Close to, that was a Highway Patrol case. The one close to the Dollar General.
Okay.
And was it Middlesex or Bailey,
Yes,
or in
it
that
was in
area?
Middlesex.
That was a Highway Patrol
231,
case right there.
I don't think they realized when they got involved that that it was actually a crime that had kind of evolved from, I think they thought it was crash related.
Right.
And then once they kind of got into it and the body went to the medical examiner's office, the medical examiner's like, time out.
Yeah, yeah. There's more to this than a crash.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
So in the meantime, you know, the sheriff's department had to get involved, and it's just kind of mushroomed. But typically the Highway Patrol works cases from ditch to ditch.
Yes.
Typically.
Yes. So anyway, we're going to take our first break. We're going to bring back Lieutenant Seaman right after this.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers, active and retired, with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And welcome back. We have Lieutenant Seifman from the Rocky Mount Police Department with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks
Glad
for having
to-
me back.
Absolutely. Well, you must have behaved because we did have you back. And you
right.
really have to behave on this show for us to have you back. So anyway, you have a case this morning that you want to talk about, so tell us about the case.
Today we're talking about Anthony Ray Arrington Jr. The young man was 25 years old back in October of 19.
Okay.
On the 8th, around 3:30 in the morning, we responded to 109 Aqua Court where shots were fired. We discovered that Mr. Arrington was in bed with gunshot wounds and life-saving measures were taken. However, he succumbed to his wounds and passed. We followed up on several leads. He did have some previous gang affiliations. Uncertain if he was a gang member or not, but he did have some gang affiliations, and there could have been some issues from his past that may have come up. But we have not been able to develop a suspect to identify them or charge anybody in this case right now. So we're asking for the public's help.
So now, okay, this is the home.
Aqua Court is off of Old Wilson Road in Edgecombe County, Rocky Mount.
Yes.
And it's a cul-de-sac with a couple dozen of duplex apartments, 2-story. And that's the duplex there. 109 is on the right.
Right.
Is that near the fuel dock?
It is.
Okay,
It is,
I
yeah.
got you.
If you come by past Sammy's and go out Old Wilson Road, it'll be on the left.
On the
Gotcha.
left.
Yeah,
Okay.
just about a quarter mile from the fuel dock there.
So this was a home invasion.
Yes. Yeah, the shooter or shooters entered the residence, encountered Mr. Arrington in bed, and then fled the residence.
Wow. I mean, was anything missing?
Doesn't appear to be a robbery or a break-in, and obviously there was other occupants in the residence at the time. So
Oh.
Wow.
You know, that's one of my fears, is that. Or to come home, always keep your doors locked, folks, and you would
Absolutely.
recommend that. Always lock your doors, because even when you're not home, I've just had this fear, I don't know why, of coming home and finding somebody in my home. Just, you know, so always lock your doors, and I think you would give people that advice.
even when you're home, lock
That's
your
right.
doors.
Yeah, at all times, just keep your doors locked. If you're sitting in your home watching TV at night, leave it.
Lock your door.
Lock your doors. I mean, really, it makes it a little bit harder. So, so let's go over this one more time. Let's show the pictures one more time, if we can, Brittany. I don't know if, yeah, she can hear me. So there it is.
Old Wilson and Aqua Court. The upstairs in the apartment, Mr. Arrington, about 3:30 in the morning, was shot and killed. And we are looking for the suspect or suspects that perpetrated his murder.
Okay, so you don't know 1, 2, how many you
Right,
suspect? Okay.
At
It
least
almost
one.
sounds like a hit.
And there's text to tip.
It could be. Yeah, the text to tip, of course, text RMPOL and your message to 274-637, that's the word crimes, and then start your tip after RMPOL, and we receive that 24/7. We've talked about the anonymity on that, absolute anonymity, because it's housed off United States soil, so they can't get it even with a subpoena or court order.
Okay, so that's really good news. So if you call, and don't forget, we have a reward of up to $15,000, folks. If you do make that call from this show to the police department, you will get a reward. So if you text that tip, if you call that hotline number, however you get in touch with them, if you saw it on this show, or just call if you know anything. And we say all the time, the least
The smallest tip could
The
be the one piece of
smallest-
information that we're looking for.
it could be. I mean,
Absolutely.
any cars you might have seen. Now, give the time again.
This was 3:30 in the morning, so it's less likely that there were a lot of cars on the
That's
street.
right.
But it's not a time in Rocky Mount where there's no cars on the street. So
Right, right. So, anyway, the least little thing, if you were a neighbor, if you are a neighbor, if you knew anything about this or know anything about this, please come forward, because we need to give families on this show, that's what we always say, we need to give families closure.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's why we do this. So we really appreciate you being on today and talking about this, Lieutenant. And we will see you back in a month.
1 month.
And you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You guys
Absolutely.
do the same.
All right, we'll be right back.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back. You know, as we said, and we always enjoy Lieutenant Seaman coming on, so anyway, if you know anything about that case, again, we surely do hope you would come forward. That is, you know, we were just discussing this with Lieutenant Seaman. It's hard to get somebody to come forward because there are various reasons. They're scared.
And that's usually the biggest reason.
Yeah, that's the biggest reason. Or, you know, you don't feel like your tip is that much of a big deal, you know, but to them, as they say, it could be a big deal. So there's various reasons why people don't want to come forward. So anyway, that's why on this show we do encourage. We just really do encourage that you do. The holidays are coming. So we want to talk a little bit. We've got a short segment here, and then the last 10 minutes we'll talk about the safety. But there's another case that I noticed, JP, on the previous page from where we discussed the last case. The page numbers in this book are not the greatest, or do they even?
I noticed they kind of, they're in sequence. It's just they come and go.
Yeah.
The numbers come and go.
Well, on the previous page, John McCaudle, we have
Gotcha.
not talked about that case. At approximately 6:16 a.m., yeah, this is the case. Okay. I just want to make sure. And you want to read that one, or have you got your glasses?
Sure.
Okay.
7/4/18, at approximately 6:18 a.m., EMS and Rocky Mount police officers were dispatched to the scene of a possible cardiac arrest. They arrived to find Mr. John McCloud unresponsive on the walking track of the senior center. They found gunshot wounds to Mr. Claude's chest, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Mr. Claude was found by two people who walked the track for exercise. An autopsy was ordered to investigate his death. He had cash, cell phone, and his wallet, and a Walmart bag near his right hand. There were no signs of a struggle, and robbery did not appear to be the motive. The investigative report mentions that Rocky Mount Police Department had many calls of a celebratory gunfire in the city that night, as it was the July 4th holiday. That's kind of,
Yeah.
that's not
Prime
good.
time.
I don't like where this is going. There has been speculation that Mr. Claude was possibly struck by the celebratory gunfire, and there has also been speculation that he was intentionally killed. There were no shell casings found on the scene.
Wow. So first of all, this is another one of those cases where you think they're sick and they died from this, and then after further investigation, you find this, and autopsies can be worth their weight in gold. They'll order an autopsy just when you think, why are they ordering an autopsy? But that's good sometimes, because it will reveal stuff that when you think that they died from a medical emergency or something, they didn't.
Well, I would say the penetration depth of the round
Right.
would be able to tell you if it was from a gun that was fired 2 miles away or from a few feet.
Yes, yes,
I would argue that.
yes.
So, is it possible? Can a random round kill you? Yes, it can. I mean,
Right.
it happens all the time. But I would argue that if they did an autopsy, they know if it was close range or distant range.
Right. Well, you know, poor man, it sounded like he was just trying to do his exercise, walking at the senior center on the walking track.
And it looks like he wasn't robbed. Robbery clearly was not a motive. So it was either a random gunshot or it sounds like a hit.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like
The
to me.
thing is, which one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And if that happened, I don't understand. If you're at the senior center, I mean, isn't there more people walking on that track than you?
I would think so. At 6:18 in the morning in July, let's see, that's when he was found.
Right.
So,
By two people who walked the track for exercise. An autopsy was ordered to investigate his death. Yeah, he had cash, cell phone, his wallet, and all. See, I mean, they didn't take anything.
well, they would have been able to take his body temperature and pretty much establish a timeline as to when he collapsed.
Right.
We don't know if it was at 6 o'clock in the morning. We don't know if it was at 11 o'clock at night and he lay there all night long. It sounds like to me some of the first people on the track that morning were the people that probably found him. I don't know that they saw him go down.
Right.
So it would be interesting to kind of see in the autopsy the target window that they think he passed or that he collapsed or that he died.
Wow. Well, we'll have to ask. I really want to ask Lieutenant Seekman next time if he will expound on this one and see if they're finding any see what they're doing with their investigation of this case. Because this, you know, this is, so 6:18 in the morning, people arrive. So are you saying that because he wouldn't have been able to get on the track overnight.
Well,
They lock the place up, don't they?
I don't know.
So late at night,
Or he could have been out there
was
really
he the
early.
last one, or he could
You know,
have been
at
out
6
there?
o'clock in July,
They probably
it's
opened the
been
place
daylight a while at
Yeah.
6:15.
They might open the place at 5 or 5:30. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if that's the case, boy, they got him as soon as he got there, almost. If he got
If that was his
morning,
routine, it goes back to a hit because they
Right.
know his routine.
That's exactly right. Wow. Well, you never know. But this is another case, John Mack Cottle. If you go to the senior center downtown on Church Street, if you go to the senior center and you know anything, if you knew the man, John Mack Cottle, if you walked with him sometimes, you know, people get to be friendly at
Yeah.
those facilities.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's only a block from the police department.
It is, yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
It's in the old YMCA building,
Gotcha. There at the train station or the bus station.
right there. So, very strange case. When I was reading this one yesterday, I said, I really want to bring this case up because, you know, I would hope somebody would say something about this.
And that's almost a shift change
Yeah,
at Rocky Mount Police
it
Department.
is.
A lot of officers coming, a lot of officers going, beginning and ending their shift.
Isn't that? Wow. That's some good points you brought out. I hadn't even thought about that. And down the street from the police department, good Lord. Well, anyway, if you know anything about John Mack Cottle, please do the text to tip, because it is Rocky Mount Police Department's case, or call 406-6736. Call our hotline. You know, we really need to bring closure to this family, and we really need to solve this case. So, and it will be completely anonymous, and the pot is at $15,000, and it will be, like I said, anonymous, so you can get you some money, some cash for Christmas. So anyway, we'll be right back with you right after this.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And welcome back. Well, we have another case that we want to bring out briefly. We don't know that much about it, but we do want to mention as things happen. We do. That's one of the things we like to do on this show, is bring you the hot and now. It's called Hot and Now, and we do have a Hot and Now that we briefly can touch on, can't we, JP?
Yeah, and this is kind of personal because this is a very dear friend of mine that I've known since I was a kid.
Right.
There in the Bailey community.
In your community.
In my community.
Yeah.
This just goes to show you, I mean, this stuff can happen anywhere. And this guy's one of the most kind-hearted, soft-spoken people that you'll ever meet. His name is Mark Boykin. One night last week, he saw someone breaking into a relative's home on Boykin Road just outside of Bailey. Mark confronted the person, was attempting to hold them while law enforcement arrived. Several others, we believe maybe 3, jumped Mark, beat him severely, broke his jaw. He had to undergo surgery. He's still hospitalized at, I believe, somewhere in Raleigh. They think that the suspects could have been driving a silver Tahoe. Terrible crime. Very, very senseless. Very, very
heinous.
Violent. They are offering a cash reward. If people have any tips on this, please reach out to the Nash County Sheriff's Office, 459-4121, or Fighting Crime, 252-406-6736. Mark is a great guy. People in the community love him. He did, but they beat him within an inch of his life.
I can feel his pain when you talked about the broken jaw.
He is loved so much so that in the Bailey, Middlesex community, they've raised upwards of about $30,000 in under a week. I'm doing a fundraiser for him. I'm doing a concealed carry class December the 11th at the Bailey Masonic Lodge. We're just asking that you make a minimum donation of $60 or more. 100% of the proceeds. I'm doing it for free. My instructors are doing it for free. The Bailey Masonic Lodge is not charging us anything.
Wow.
100% of money's collected is going to go to Mark and his wife, because he is he's self-employed. He's a mechanic.
Wow.
And he's got a long road to go.
Not fair.
And he's going to need this. He's going to need this.
So if any of you have not taken your concealed carry and you're thinking about it, December 11th is the date, as JP said, and this is a wonderful opportunity to give back to your fellow man. JP is giving of his time, his instructors, as he said, so please, if you're going to get your concealed carry, go to that class. Sign up for that class. How can they sign up?
You can call me or text me at 919-369-0311. Like I say, 919-369-0311, a minimum donation of $60 or more. That's the cheapest price I believe I've ever had for a class.
Yeah,
if you want to come and donate $100, that's fine. If you want to donate $60, that's fine. This family needs your help. They need your support.
Yeah, and we never know when it's going to be us needing help.
That's right.
So please let's help this guy, Mark
Boykin, great guy. And I'll tell you something else. To know that there are people like this in my community, this violent.
Oh, yes.
I take it personal. My friends, my neighbors take it personal. And to the suspects that are out there, if you're watching TV, if you know what's best for you, you might want to reach out to the sheriff and tell them where you're at. Because I'm telling you, that community is angry. And like they say in Yellowstone, you don't want to get took to the train station.
Right, that's right. Exactly. And that little community of Bailey, Middlesex, those little towns like that, they take it personally. I mean, when one of their own, something happens to one of their own like this, they don't play. I mean, they're mad.
People in my community are angry.
Yes.
They are.
I can imagine, because he was a fine guy, is a fine guy. He did live, thank goodness. He is a fine guy, and you know, highly respected by the people in the community.
An example, my mother would take her car there to get work on, and he wouldn't take money from her. Would work on my mother's car time and time and time again, and would not take the first dime from her. I mean, it's just Mark. It's just Mark.
Wow. No wonder people, I mean, there are not a lot of people left in the world like that, so no wonder the people are really mad. That tells you the integrity of the man and how much the people thought of him there. So I hope you will, or if you just want to make a donation and not take the concealed carry class, you can just make a donation by calling JP. Give the number again.
You can call me or text me at 919-369-0311.
Okay. All righty, we want to give you, in closing, some, as we said, you're going to be shopping. So we want to give you some valuable tips this morning. We'll start off with, I just say, make sure you are aware of your surroundings.
Yeah,
What do you say, JP?
a lot of families get up real early Friday morning.
Oh,
I mean, it'll be dark.
4 in the morning.
Or they stay out all night long Thursday, and that's fine. That's neat. They're making a memory with their loved ones, their family. People, please be mindful. The criminal element out here, they know you're going to be out all night. They know you're going to be out in the dark. They know you're going to be out early in the morning. These people this is what they do.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking for you. When you get ready to come out of that store pushing that cart, pause for a moment. Pause. Take a glance around that parking lot. Park near aerial lighting.
Right.
Be mindful of your surroundings. Be looking for that random person in that parking lot that's looking at you.
Right.
Okay? Lock eyes with that person. Acknowledge they're standing there. Let them know, hey, I see you.
Yes.
If you're
Absolutely.
a licensed concealed carry, make sure you're carrying. From now to the end of the year, you're going to see violent crime or crime in general continue to tick up.
Yes.
And I don't want you to be a victim. You're going to see breaking and enterings, just like my friend. I mean, he caught somebody stealing. These people are going to become more emboldened.
They are.
And it's going to continue to tick up through the holidays.
Absolutely.
And you've got to avoid presenting an opportunity. If you've got packages in your car, put them in your trunk.
Absolutely.
If you don't have room in your trunk, take a blanket so you can cover up the items.
I was going to say, if they've got an SUV, so many people have SUVs now. So their trunk is not hidden.
Right.
I mean, so take a blanket.
Take a
like you
blanket,
said,
take a
cover it
sleeping
up.
bag, yeah. Because I'm telling you, the criminal element, they're going to be walking these parking lots.
they
They're
know
going to
what
be
they're
looking.
doing.
Look out at Bend of the River Road. Look at the surveillance videos from the homes just over the past week. Cars coming down the highway, people jumping out of their cars, going up and pulling on the door handles at random people's
Really?
Yes, it's all over the internet. It's crazy. And
On
it's
Bend of the River Road?
all the way out almost to Farm Pack. They're driving the roads,
Wow.
getting out, running up to randomly parked vehicles, checking to see if the doors are locked.
Do you know that happened one time before, about 3 years ago? We had to report it. I mean, we talked about it and talked about it. Yeah, people were breaking in cars like crazy. Golly. Again.
Out in the middle
Wow.
of the country.
Yeah.
And another thing, be mindful, lock your doors. When you're walking up to your vehicle, peek inside. Check to make sure there's no one hiding in your car.
Oh, yes.
You know, it can happen.
Look in your car.
Yeah, it can happen.
When you get in your car, I would almost, you know what I would do if it was dark? I would, you know, a lot of you open your door and you'll look. No, I want to turn my cell phone light on
Yeah.
and look with that before I open the door. Look in the back. If you've got an SUV, that is a perfect place for somebody to hide.
Absolutely.
Take your cell phone light and look all in the back of your SUV when you're coming around your car. Yes.
And home invasions. Oh my goodness, they're ticking up. Have a plan. Keep your doors locked. Tonight when you're sitting there watching TV, ask yourself, what would I do right now if that door got kicked in and 3 guys come in here? What would I do? What would be my course of action? You know,
Yes,
I pose it to my
absolutely.
children all the time. When I come home, what would you do if I was a bad guy? You know,
Absolutely.
there's a fine line between being paranoid and prepared. You're considered paranoid until that opportunity presents itself and you have a decision that you prepared for. Then all of a sudden, what you had done is preparedness.
Yes. And also, at Christmas, I will go ahead and say this prematurely, but I will be saying it again. When you open boxes, TV boxes, anything like that with electronics or anything, don't put the boxes out on the street, folks. You're just telling people, hey, I just got a brand new 50-inch or 60-inch television in my house. Come get it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. How do I dispose of them then? Put them in your car and take them to the convenience center.
Yeah. Collapse
That's
them and put them in a
exactly.
huge black trash
That's what
bag.
I would do.
Yeah.
Do anything, but don't put them on the street to let people know what's in your house. And, you know, I don't keep my blinds closed because, you know, you want to show your Christmas tree and you want to do all that. But at night, you better believe I keep my blinds closed. You don't want them to look in there and see
Right.
what you've got in there. So, and leave your TVs, leave lights on in your house when you leave. Let people think that you're home.
Put your lights on a timer. Have one particular lamp that comes on and a light over
Yes.
here go off. You want to give the illusion that someone's in there and different lights are coming on and going off.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you don't think people are not watching your routine, you're naive.
That's right. These people are making their plans right now
They
for
are.
next weekend. They're planning it right now. So you just don't be the victim, as
That's right.
JP said. So we hope you have a safe, nice Thanksgiving weekend, Thanksgiving Day with your family, eating your turkey or whatever you're eating. But be thankful. Be thankful for everything you have, and be thankful for your health, and just be thankful and have a great weekend. And JP, you'll end it with however you want to end it.
Hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.